We celebrate all holidays together. If you look down my page, I hate to say this, but it's one of the things that I want y'all to look at. Because when she say about me spending money, you'll see the gifts being bought. You'll see the diamond necklaces and chains being bought when she started the league. Since she wanted to fabricate and say, oh, he never wanted me to start the league. You see that.
The hip-hop world did not see this coming. There was no warning, no countdown, no teaser post. It happened late at night, when most people were scrolling half asleep, just killing time before bed. Out of nowhere, a notification popped up on thousands of phones at the same time. Papoose is live on Instagram. At first, people thought it was just another casual moment. Maybe he was about to talk music, life, or something funny. But the second the screen opened, everyone knew this was different. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't joking. He wasn't relaxed. He looked tired in a way sleep could never fix. His eyes were red. His face was tight with anger and pain. He stared into the camera like a man who had been carrying something heavy for a long time, and finally decided he couldn't hold it anymore. The room around him was quiet. No music. No friends. No background noise. Just him and the sound of his breathing. For a few seconds he didn't say anything at all. The comments started flooding in. Yo, what's going on? You good, Pap? This feels serious. Finally, he spoke. I've been quiet for too long, he said. His voice was steady, but you could hear the strain behind it. I tried to protect my peace. I tried to protect my family. But the truth can't stay hidden forever. That's when people leaned closer to their screens. Nobody knew what he was about to say, but everyone could feel it. Something big was coming. Something that wasn't just about music or internet drama. Something personal. Something painful. Then he dropped the words that changed everything. He said that for a long time he had been hearing whispers, rumors, quiet conversations behind closed doors. Stories about a secret connection between Remy Ma and 50 Cent. At first he claimed he ignored them. He told himself it was just talk, just noise, just people trying to stir trouble. But over time, he said, things started to feel off. Small details didn't line up. Stories changed. Moments from the past suddenly didn't make sense anymore. And the biggest doubt of all crept into his mind. His daughter, Remy Mackenzie. He said he had been told his whole life that she was his. He said he loved her like nothing else in this world. He raised her, protected her, and stood by her as her father in every way that mattered. But the rumors wouldn't leave him alone. He said the thought alone made him sick to his stomach. The idea that something so important, so sacred, could be built on a lie. For weeks, maybe months, he claimed he went back and forth in his head. He didn't want to believe it. He didn't want to ask the question out loud. But eventually, he said, the doubt became too heavy. So he did something he never imagined he would do. He got a DNA test. Not in public. Not in front of cameras. Quietly. Privately. Away from the internet, the media, and even most of the people in his life. He said when the results came back, his hands were shaking as he opened them, and what he read, according to him, broke his world apart. He claimed the test showed that Remy Mackenzie was not biologically his daughter. The comments exploded. No way. This can't be real. Please tell me this is a joke. Papoose paused. He swallowed hard. Then he said the name that made the internet freeze. 50 Cent. He claimed the results showed that 50 Cent was the biological father. For a moment, it felt like the entire live stream went silent. Not because the comments stopped, but because people didn't know what to say anymore. The story had just gone from shocking to unbelievable. Papoose's voice started to crack. Remy, he said, looking straight into the camera like she could see him. You lied to me. You cheated. You let me live in a world that wasn't real. He said he felt betrayed, not just as a man, but as a father. He said the pain wasn't only about being deceived. It was about losing something he thought was unbreakable. Trust. He talked about how he believed he was building a life on honesty, only to find out, in his words, that the foundation was full of secrets. He said every memory, every birthday, every moment he spent as a father now felt different. Not because he loved his daughter any less, but because the truth had been hidden from him. This wasn't just a mistake, he said. This was years of silence. Years of letting me believe something that wasn't true. Then he went even further. He claimed he was preparing to take this to court. He said he planned to file a lawsuit for paternity fraud against Remy Ma. He said he wanted the truth laid out in the open, not just for himself but for the world to see. According to him, this wasn't about revenge. It was about accountability. He said the court would see everything: the DNA test, the messages, the conversations, the timeline. He said he wasn't going to let this be buried under headlines and internet jokes. When he finally ended the live, he didn't say goodbye. He didn't wave. He just stared at the screen for a second, then turned the camera off. And just like that, the internet exploded. Within minutes, clips of the live were everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, group chats, news pages, gossip blogs. People who hadn't even watched the full video were already arguing about it. Some fans rushed to defend Remy Ma. They said there was no proof. They said Papoose was emotional and hurt and shouldn't be making claims online. Others stood behind Papoose, saying no man would say something like this unless he truly believed it. And then there was the name that kept trending at the top of every platform: 50 Cent. People started digging into old interviews, old photos, old moments. Every interaction between him and Remy Ma was suddenly being replayed and re-examined. Did we miss something back then? Was this hidden in plain sight? How long has this been going on? Podcasts recorded emergency episodes. YouTubers went live. TikTok creators broke down every second of the video, pausing and zooming in on Papoose's face, his tone, his body language. But in the middle of all this noise, there was one part of the story that made a lot of people stop and think. The child. Reminisce Mackenzie. While adults were arguing online, while fans were choosing sides, while headlines were being written, there was a little girl at the center of it all who never asked for any of this. Papoose talked about that too. He said the hardest part wasn't just what happened to him. It was knowing that her life could be changed forever by something she had no control over. He said he still loved her. That part didn't change. But he also said the truth mattered. Not just for him but for her future, for her understanding of who she is. As the days passed, the story didn't die down. It grew. People claimed that lawyers were already getting involved. Some said legal papers were being prepared. Others said meetings were happening behind closed doors. Every so-called insider seemed to have a new piece of information. One day it was about alleged text messages. The next day it was about emails. Then it was about secret meetings and hidden timelines. Nobody knew what was real and what wasn't anymore. What was clear was that this had turned into more than just a personal issue. It had become a public spectacle. Every artist connected to any of the names involved started getting asked questions. Every interview turned into a minefield. Even people who had nothing to do with the situation were being dragged into conversations about it. Some fans said the internet had gone too far. They said this was a family matter that shouldn't be played out in front of millions of strangers. Others argued that once Papoose went live, it became public. Papoose himself, according to reports, didn't back down. He stood by his claims. He repeated that he wanted the truth out, no matter how uncomfortable it was. He said he felt like his entire world had been flipped upside down, like he had been living one life and suddenly woke up in another. He talked about sleepless nights, about replaying old memories in his head, trying to see where things went wrong. He talked about the moment he opened the DNA results and felt like the floor disappeared under his feet. For Remy Ma, the pressure was just as intense. Every post she made or didn't make became a headline. Every move was watched. Some people demanded a response. Others said she deserved privacy. And 50 Cent remained a constant topic of debate. Was he involved? Did he know? Was this all a misunderstanding? Every theory found an audience online. As weeks went by, the story didn't fade. If anything, it became part of everyday internet conversation. People who didn't even follow hip-hop knew the names now. They knew the claims. They knew the drama. But behind the viral clips and trending hashtags, there was still something real and heavy underneath it all. A man who felt betrayed. A woman under intense scrutiny. A child whose life might be shaped by a story she didn't choose to be part of. Papoose reportedly said that no amount of fame, money, or attention could make this pain go away. He said once trust is broken at this level, it leaves a scar that never fully heals. He talked about how love and truth should go together. How raising a child should be built on honesty, not secrets. Some people saw him as brave for speaking out. Others saw him as reckless for going public. The internet couldn't agree on one version of the story, and maybe that's what made it so powerful. Everyone brought their own feelings into it, their own experiences with trust, betrayal, family, and heartbreak. For some, it was just another celebrity scandal. For others, it hit close to home. As the possibility of a courtroom battle loomed, people imagined what might come out if everything really did go to trial. Private messages, personal conversations, moments that were never meant to be public. The idea alone kept the story alive. News outlets speculated about how careers and reputations could be affected, how relationships in the industry might change, how this could shift how people saw everyone involved. But no matter how big the headlines got, one truth stayed the same. This wasn't just about fame. It was about family. It was about trust. It was about a little girl whose name was now known by millions of strangers around the world. In the end, nobody online truly knows what happened behind closed doors. People only know what they've been told, what they've seen in clips, and what they've read in posts. But what's clear is this. One Instagram Live turned into a moment that shook an entire community. It turned private pain into public conversation. It reminded everyone how fast a story can spread, how quickly lives can be changed when the world is watching. And as the days go on, people are still waiting for official statements, waiting for court filings, waiting for answers. Because whether this turns out to be truth, misunderstanding, or something in between, the impact has already been made. The story has already been written into internet history. And somewhere in the middle of all the noise, there is a child growing up in a world where her name became a headline before she could even understand what that means.